Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind these are general readings, so they may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. All right, my friends, let's get started and see what is the energy around the week ahead for Sagittarius. What is the energy for the week ahead for Sagittarius? Ooh, those came out together. A fork in the road, a never-ending story, both coming out together in reverse with the orphaned card and between two worlds. Bottom of the deck is to the sea. Oh, wow. Very interesting collection of cards coming out very precisely here. No fooling around in this reading. Okay, interesting. So, okay, Sagittarius, what this is telling me is that you're coming into a fork in the road. There's going to be a choice point coming up, and it's going to be very interesting because it's going to illuminate to you some patterns or some beliefs or some narrative that's been going loopy in your mind, and it's been there for a long time, and it's almost like you're going to get a chance this week to sort of let it go. And it's interesting because it sort of feels like it's one of those moments where you're being divinely redirected away from something. So it's interesting. It's like you're getting shifted into something and away from something else. And it seeing this orphan card makes me feel like the thing that you're getting shifted away from was something that you wanted. It was something that you felt an emotional connection to. It was something that you had felt, something that would make you feel a little bit rejected, right? Like that you would feel sad if you didn't belong to this anymore, or if there was a connection that faded or left your experience, that would make you feel sad initially. And I feel like that is happening to sort of move you into a new experience when I see between worlds right after that. And to the sea is a really interesting message of sort of just going with the flow of things and not trying to, don't fight against things that are leaving your life. Let them leave. Let them leave, because I feel like it's opening you up for something here when I see these two cards in the challenged position. And so let's start with that never-ending story card. When that card shows up in the reverse, the never-ending story, card 37, it can be a time where we're about to sort of try to avoid things. You know, you might find yourself trying to sidestep your stuff and other people's stuff here, like trying to avoid things, like almost like thinking that, is this mine to deal with, or is this someone else's to deal with? And it's almost like you're going to have a choice about that. There may be some feelings around this that involve like kind of feeling like you might want to procrastinate. You might be trying to distract yourself because you don't really want to look at this. This could involve a lot of self-criticism and almost like this idea of there being this unnecessary dramatic narrative running through your mind, and the question coming up like, is this mine or is this someone else's? Like, is this really being is this being brought to my focus because that's how I feel, or is this what the drama of around me is making me feel? Do you know what I mean? And that card came out very closely with the fork in the road, card 13. And that's also in the challenged position. And so that almost makes me feel like you've got a lot of indecision about where the drama root is located. Is it mine? Is it theirs? And what am I supposed to do with this? This could be a very frustrating and confusing time where you kind of feel like you've lost your way altogether, and that you feel this orphaned vibe, which is one where we just feel like we don't belong anymore. We feel like we don't belong, and we feel like we're not sure where we're going or what we're doing and where we should be going next. This is a sense of loss, almost like an identity crisis when you see this card. And so you could be facing a big tower moment in your life right now where you're feeling a bit lost, you're having a bit of an identity crisis here, and really the thing you're being guided to do is to just go with the flow, because once you sort of are in flow and you return to that energy guiding you, that source force of this universe, that's going to shift you into a new path with that Between Worlds card. I love seeing that Between Worlds card because it really shows a transition happening here, and that you might be looking at your path right now and you feel kind of blinded. You feel that temporary blindness, like, you know, when you're driving and it's near sunset and sometimes you can't actually see where you're going, and sometimes you just have to follow that car ahead of you and trust that all will be well. Like, you're having this identity moment where you're blinded. You're not able to see what's ahead around the next corner. And you've just got to kind of go with the flow and trust that you're being guided and use your other senses to help guide you. You're in a temporary situation that is about to shift. Does it feel heavy? Yes. Do you feel frustrated? Absolutely. Do you feel even maybe a little bit anxious and worried about whose stuff you're feeling right now? Like, you might be picking up on a lot of stuff, a lot of other people's limits and perceptions of you, projections, and it's almost like you've got to sort of trust your own guts here, you know, and go with the flow, because you're moving towards a big transition. I haven't even started the tarot cards and it's already 7 minutes. That's wild. Okay, let's jump into the tarot cards. What a fascinating reading already for Sagittarius. There's the tower. I knew it was a tower moment. This is Tower City. This has got tower written all over it. You're in the midst of a big tower moment here, Sag. The ground beneath your feet is about to drop out, and you're going to find yourself in a completely different landscape. This temporary blindness, this temporary situation you're in is about to transform. Look at that. Judgment and the Hermit. Come on. You got 3 major arcanas coming out right away, and big ones. You got the Tower, Judgment, and Hermit. I mean, you're closing out a big cycle here. You're about to have this huge moment of understanding. It's almost like an awakening. This is a moment of self-awakening. You're going to really understand self-realization, and you're going to really understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it happened here. This is a big one. This could even be considered like a dark night of the soul. I bet you if I pulled a certain deck, that card would come up too. The Hermit is guiding you to get some perspective here. Okay, so to not really look at things head on here. You're almost needing to get some perspective, and to do this on your own. Like, this is almost like an exercise to withdraw a little bit, to reflect, to have some serious self-reflection, and to look at things from a higher perspective, so that you're not like, this happened because, you know, and come up with something that is like, you know, because I'm a loser, or because I suck, or, you know, no. Or because I never knew my way around, or I'm always feeling lost, like using those kind of big statements like always and never. This is a time to really sit back and do some self-reflection on the journey that you've had so far, and to understand that you're about to move into a brand new one here. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what else came up for you. There's the 5 of Cups and the High Priestess in reverse coming out together. So this tells me that as you reflect back, you might be starting to feel regret, remorse, a lot of sadness, and you might not be tuning into what that inner voice is guiding you, this High Priestess. Seeing the 6 of Swords on the bottom of the deck tells me that you're going to be clinging a little bit to this old timeline, and that it's important to let it go. There's some past hurts here that need to be released, and you know, it's going to be a challenge. I feel like we're seeing the High Priestess here in reverse because there's a part of you that almost wants to hang on to this. you almost want to hang on to this because you may have a fear of letting it go. You may fear letting this timeline go because then it's over and you're moving on. And sometimes there's a part of us that wants to hang on to things even if they're painful, because then at least we're still connected to it, right? We haven't lost that connection. But this is a connection you're being guided to release with this Tower card and the Judgment card. And the Six of Swords in reverse is saying you're hanging on to something that you need to let go of. It's not serving you to stay on that beach with that Six of Swords, right? Think of what comes before it. It's the Five of Swords, where you're on that beach and everyone's saying things and there's this big defeating moment where no one wins. And it's almost like here you must accept that it's time to change. It's time to have a transition. Carrying past baggage around does not serve you. You have to let this go. That's the guidance of this reading. And that you can accept help. You can ask for help. You don't have to feel alone here. There is some self-reflection that you should do on your own, but there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Nothing at all. And to be guided, to feel that you are not alone in this process is very interesting. You are making a transition. This card is about making a journey and taking a journey. You're getting distance from stuff and you're making the journey across the sea to a new shoreline. You are making a big shift here, Sagittarius. It's a big one. And it's transformative. This is a big moment of self-realization, endings, and transformation. We're seeing the Seven of Cups here. You're going to start to see that whatever used to fill your cups doesn't fit anymore. That you are transitioning. You are no longer connected to the things that used to connect. Like the Seven of Cups always makes me think that the stuff that used to fill you up, now you don't feel that. Oh, I just knocked the camera. You don't feel that same connection with it anymore. You now see that what those things really looked like for you doesn't fit anymore. It's interesting. You are being moved forward and you don't see the full picture yet, but man, do you have a lot of new options moving in. You have a lot of new options moving in, even if you can't see the full picture yet. There's the Hierophant. So this is coming from source. Like, this is a time where you're really being guided to take that flow, because source is guiding you through a very painful moment of separation. And you're reflecting on it as you separate, and you're needing to see it from a different perspective, a more almost like spiritual perspective, to see that nothing truly ever ends. Like if you've been separated from someone, their energy is still here. And it's almost like you have to find a different way of looking at it, because holding on to this amount of sorrow is why you're transitioning. This has to transition. This has to shift. And you might be a little bit afraid of letting go of that connection. You might feel guilty letting go of that connection, because you might feel like as long as you're holding on to it, you're still connected to that situation. And if you let it go, it's almost like you're at war with yourself. You don't feel like you want to accept help. You don't feel like you want to celebrate. I feel like there's a part of you, like I said, that just feels comfortable holding on to this because at least you still feel connected to it, but I feel like there's a higher way you can do that. Look at the bottom of the deck, my friends. This is about transformation. You are transitioning, you are transforming, you are moving into a new timeline. You're being guided to let go of the past and leave it all behind, even the painful moments, even the things that used to sort of fill you up. You're being guided to imagine new things. You're being guided to see new options, even though you can't see the full picture, to look at what your options are moving ahead that would bring you to this sort of new shoreline. You're moving. some of you might actually physically be moving, but for others of you, it's like you're just moving with the flow of the guidance you're being given by source, by your higher self, by the energy you feel shifting naturally within you. You're just obeying it. You know what I mean? Like you're going with that process. You're trusting that flow, and you're not fighting it. I just feel like you're hanging on to stuff that you need to release. You just need to release these things with love, with gratitude, and to know that the connection you have, if this involves certain people, certain memories, that connection remains, but you don't have to hold on to the baggage anymore. You can release it. The never-ending story can have a conclusion now, Very interesting reading. Wow. Okay, first card out here is the answers you need are coming. So I know that you're feeling that sort of, I don't know what's around the corner. I don't know where I'm going. Well, the answers you need are coming. You just need to hold fast and allow this transition to happen, and sort of allow yourself to get distance and know that you're about to move into a new part of your life. You're transitioning. This is a time for healing, right? This is a time for healing, self-reflection, inner work. This is your time to heal. Bottom of the deck says take time to breathe out. So really, this is about you focusing very much on your own healing and your own processing of this transformation, this transition, and the release of things that don't serve you to hang on to anymore. All of that pain, all of that feeling of missing and longing, and your inner voice is trying to guide you here. I feel like you just need to make space for it so that you can feel and hear that guidance. I'm going to leave it at that, Sagittarius. I hope this has been helpful. If this reading has resonated for you, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. If you would like a personal reading, you can find that information in the description below. As always, I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.